Now on the CTV News at 5, a recall petition has been approved for the Premier. Plus, a Brooks RCMP officer is charged with assault. And city police gear up for their annual charity check stop.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. We're glad you could join us. A recall campaign has been launched against Premier Danielle Smith. According to documents sent to CTV News by petition organizers, a recall drive-in in Smith's Brooks Medicine Hat riding has been approved by Elections Alberta. Petition organizers say the effort stems from concerns about Smith's lack of connection to the community and her use of the notwithstanding clause.
I feel like my voice and the voices of my neighbors aren't being heard. I feel like our MLA she's rarely seen in the community. She's not seen in the community. We feel like she doesn't have a connection. She's not from here. She doesn't have a history with us.
Elections Alberta has not yet posted the petition or any statement from Smith in response to it. On its website, the Premier's office has not responded to a CTV's request for comment, but the UCP caucus says the recall process should not be used to overturn elections just because of disagreements with government policy. To trigger a recall vote for Smith, 12,070 signatures are required. 14 other UCP MLAs face active recall efforts, including Lethbridge East MLA Nathan Newdorf. A surprise revelation in the legislature Tuesday afternoon about proposed private surgical facilities for both Lethbridge and Red Deer. Minister of Hospital and Surgical Health Services Matt Jones announced the procurement for the two facilities has been cancelled. Carson Marsouk explains.
Concerns were raised about the procurement practices and procedures and handling of conflicts of interest in AHS procurement. And I'm pleased to share that the procurements for the Central and South Zone surgical facilities have been cancelled.
It was an announcement that caught many off guard Tuesday afternoon. During question period, Minister of Hospital and Surgical Health Services Matt Jones shared the procurement process has been ended for two facilities.
Procurement and contracting is being transferred to the Health Shared Services Organization. We've hired a consultant, RSM, to align our procurement and contracting procedures with the best jurisdictions in the world.
Alberta Health Services procurement has faced criticism since an October 2025 report highlighted conflict of interest that negatively affected the procurement process.
The fact this was mentioned in an answer to a question period question, it wasn't a fulsome government release with details or information for the public. It's frustrating. It just shows their lack of commitment to transparency and accountability.
In a statement, the minister said the decision was based on several factors, including the significant time that had passed since the proponent was selected, which made economic assumptions and costing outdated, along with operational changes and delays finalizing contracts. The proposed private surgical facility, announced in 2022, would have seen an additional 1,200 more procedures be complete in the South Zone.
Opening a new surgical center doesn't create more staff. We're in a staffing crisis. We don't have the surgeons and anesthetists and nurses we need to keep our public operating rooms open in Medicine Hat and Lethbridge and throughout the province. Opening a new private facility in the same community will only make that worse.
The province plans to launch a new procurement process early in the new year, but the NDP are calling on the UCP to be more transparent with its processes.
It's public dollars and public services, and we'd like to see that these contracts aren't just handed out to friends of the UCP.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The minister said in a statement the government is committed to reducing surgical wait times by delivering 50,000 additional surgeries through the Acute Care Action Plan. Now, we reached out to Lethbridge East MLA Nathan Newdorf for comment, but have not heard back. The City and Firefighters Union have ratified a new deal after the previous one expired back in 2020. The deal will create a new division for EMS staff. Quinn Keenan has those details.
It's taken years, but a deal is finally done between the city and the International Association of Firefighters Union Local 237. 253 IAFF members work for the city of Lethbridge. The agreement covers from 2021 to the end of 2025.
We're extremely happy. Both sides had met a significant amount of times over the last number of years, and we were able to come to a freely negotiated agreement, which was ratified by City Council last evening.
The biggest change is the creation of an EMS operational division. Until now, paramedics were also required to train as firefighters. Paramedics will now have the option to stay in a dedicated EMS unit. It's intended to make it easier to recruit more dedicated paramedics to Lethbridge.
So what this EMS division does is allow us to recruit and attract paramedics to our service and allow them the ability to work as paramedics without having to perform and complete their firefighter training right off the bat.
The deal also covers wage increases to the end of 2025. Members will see a 16.25% increase from over the last 5 years.
Over the 5 years total, it's 16.25% over those years, which brings us back up in line with current market conditions with other integrated fire departments in the province.
The City of Lethbridge is happy to have a deal finally in place after several years. Mayor Blaine Higgins said in a statement, "This is an important agreement because it creates a strong, sustainable future for the people and the systems that support critical emergency services to our community." Negotiations between the city and IAFF for the next deal will begin sometime next year. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
All right, Danielle Savoni, we've got a couple more days of positive daytime highs and then the weekend hits.
Yeah, it's going to cool down for a couple days after this. So enjoy the mild weather anyway. We have more snow in the forecast as well coming up here, but let's just talk about right now. Right now, it's mainly clear in the far south. You can see this pocket of snow that's rolling down. It's tracking towards the southeast. You may see some of this tonight in Medicine Hat, but outside of this, it's not a big weather maker for most communities in the far south. It has been a little bit on the windy side, but not as windy as anticipated. 61 kilometers per hour is the max in Pincher Creek, 54 in Lethbridge, 33 in Medicine Hat, and this is leading to some wind chill, especially as we dip below that freezing mark. Claresholm feels more like -3, Medicine Hat feels more like -7, Lethbridge at the freezing mark. Your longer range forecast coming up, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. A Calgary teenager is facing charges relating to AI-generated child sexual abuse material. Alert's Internet Child Exploitation Unit has charged a high school student after using a search warrant at a home on November the 13th. It's alleged that AI technology was used to sexualize photos of teenage girls that attended several different high schools in the Calgary area. Police are not identifying the suspect nor the high school in order to protect the identity of the victims, and the victims have been provided support services. Brooks RCMP say an officer has been charged after an investigation into off-duty conduct that started 2 weeks ago. 40-year-old Corporal Michael Hagel has been charged with assault. Police did not share details about the incident. Hagel, who has been with RCMP for 9 years, has been suspended from duty with pay. He appears in court January 26th. Edmonton police will be testing the use of artificial intelligence on officer body-worn cameras. Starting tomorrow, cameras on up to 50 officers will use facial recognition. Police will test the camera's ability to match faces with a police database of offenders. Potential matches will be sent for human review and confirmed by trained officers.
When we look at the outstanding warrants that we have in the city, there's quite a few. And a lot of those offenses that we're going to be populating into that list are for some very serious offenses. So I think there is a lot of value to this technology if it works as we hope it will.
The cameras will be tested throughout the month. Lethbridge County hosted its first ever regional emergency preparedness tabletop exercise today. The training event brought together staff from the county, village of Barons, and towns of Colehurst, Nobleford, and Picture Butte to simulate their coordinated response to large-scale disaster affecting the region. Now, today's scenario focused on a summer storm and tornado with significant impact on life, safety, property, and the environment. The exercise was designed to help staff work through logistics of responding to a major emergency.
We really want to understand when the big incidents happen, what our process is going to be, and this really allows us to have those conversations and move through that process.
Last year, the county, along with the surrounding municipalities, signed on to a regional emergency management partnership to enhance collaborative disaster preparedness and response in the region. The Lethbridge Police Service is getting ready for its 6th annual charity check stop this Saturday. Police officers and volunteers will be collecting new unwrapped toys, non-perishable food, and cash donations at Park Place Mall. Donated items will go to the 7 charities involved with the Christmas Hope campaign. This year's campaign is aiming to support 9,000 children, adults, and seniors in the community.
Supporting our community is at the heart of what we do. It's truly, truly one of the most important things for us to be able to support people here. Our members are proud to stand behind this initiative and help ensure that families and individuals who are struggling have the support they need.
It really is important to see our community come together, our civic partners such as LPS and the City of Lethbridge coming together to support our partners like this. It's a big boost for us, and it's an event that we look forward to every year.
The charity check stop will run from noon until 4 on Saturday at Park Place Mall. It was a very successful Giving Tuesday for the University of Lethbridge. It raised the most money yet for its Buy a Breakfast for a Student campaign. By the end, over $20,000 have been raised. That more than doubles last year's total of nearly $10,000. The money raised is enough to buy 3,400 free breakfast coupons for students. It is a big help for students who are busy studying for exams this time of year.
Yesterday we started distributing the free breakfast coupons, and I got to witness firsthand how meaningful it was for these students to feel like, oh, someone wants to take this little thing off my plate and wants to help me feel supported and cheered on.
Students will be able to use the coupons at the on-campus Tim Hortons and the Urban Market. A Vulcan couple is ready to live long and prosper with a $250,000 Lotto 649 prize. Karen and Norman Christensen are the latest Albertans to win big. The couple took home the $250,000 prize on the October 11th draw and say the whole experience has been a big, exciting surprise. Karen checked the numbers on the WCLC website. Norm could not believe it when the numbers matched. The couple, they've had a lot of discussions about how to spend the windfall, but no decisions yet. They bought the winning ticket from the Market Street Vulcan. Well, still ahead, after the break, Danielle is back with a 5-day forecast, plus a food fight happening in the courts over processed foods.
Well, here's your sky cam from about an hour ago, and that is facing southwest. So we have had a quiet day overall in the south, which has been pretty fantastic. It has been a little bit on the windy side. Temperatures are mild though. We do have more snow on the way. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a second here. All right, temperatures. Calgary got to the freezing mark for today. Regina -14. So quite a discrepancy in temperature just a province away. So we're on the mild side. We will continue to be on the mild side as we go through the next couple of days, and then things will start to drop off. Again, I'll show you that in your long range in just a second. 7 degrees is the high of Victoria, Vancouver. -teens in Winnipeg, -6 in Thunder Bay. Toronto got to +2, and Halifax +3. Temperatures really all over the place, which is typical for this time of year. We talked about this already. It has been a gusty day today, fairly gusty anyway. 61 was the max in Pincher Creek and 54 in Lethbridge, 33 in Medicine Hat. You can expect these similar wind conditions tomorrow as well. In fact, Pincher Creek may pick up a little bit to about 70 for tomorrow. You're looking at about 60 for tomorrow in Lethbridge, and Medicine Hat closer to 30. May get to 40, but similar to what you had out there today. Today we had quiet conditions and temperatures. Well, again, we don't measure wind chill unless it dips below freezing. So here we go. -5 is the base temperature in Claresholm, but it feels more like -8 with that wind chill. We don't measure wind chill because we're at the freezing mark here. So 0 in Pincher Creek and Lethbridge, and it feels more like -7 in Medicine Hat. So certainly a bite to the air when those winds pick up. We have been quiet with regards to active weather. You can see this pocket of snowfall tracking down. It looks like most of this will die out before it even gets to Medicine Hat, but don't be surprised that tonight you may see some snowflakes. Much of that, if you get it at all, will be mainly while you're sleeping. So not a whole lot to worry about. It's the next wave, especially by Friday, that you'll notice some significant weather once again. So there's that pocket tracking towards Medicine Hat, but it looks like most of it will die out before it gets there. So we're not looking at any accumulation from that. Thursday, it will be a little unstable and we'll have this light precipitation. We'll get above the freezing mark in many communities. So we may even have some freezing rain mixed in with this as well. And this is possible really, especially east of QE2 and Brooks all the way over to Medicine Hat. We have this possibility, especially in these areas for tomorrow. It's Friday, though, that we may pick up more of a significant snowfall. First wave is early in the morning, but really the main wave arrives later in the day on Friday, as you can see here, and then into Friday evening. So that might be blowing snow, heavy snow at times. which is why we're looking at some accumulation from this, which we'll talk about in just a second. Chance of flurries East Kootenay tonight and tomorrow morning. -1 is the daytime high for tomorrow. In the afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud. Crozes Pass, small chance of flurries tonight and tomorrow as well, as we talked about, with that little blip, but it should be short-lived. Gusts 70 kilometers per hour tomorrow and a high of 3. Medicine Hat, 2 degrees for tomorrow, but again, some wet snow mixed in with potentially some freezing rain, so maybe some slick driving conditions at times tomorrow. For Lethbridge, 3 degrees is our high tomorrow. Small chance of flurries, gusts around 60 kilometers per hour. And then that wave of snow that we get on Friday will likely bring us 2 to 4 centimeters and drop our temperature to -4 by then. We recover to above freezing by Sunday.
Now to a food fight in a U.S. courtroom, a new legal battle over processed foods with lawyers comparing big food to big tobacco. ABC's Sophie Flay has the details.
It's a first-of-its-kind lawsuit taking on companies behind some of America's most popular foods. Everything from Oreos to Wheat Thins, Nutri-Grain bars to Lunchables. The city of San Francisco is suing 10 major corporations, accusing them of making people sick. Among them, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and Kraft Heinz.
Our case is about companies who design food to be harmful and addictive and marketed their products to maximize profits.
The lawsuit alleges unfair and deceptive acts in the marketing of ultra-processed foods and claims these companies have known their products are harmful. The city says the cost of treating diseases like diabetes and heart disease has burdened local governments.
Ultra-processed foods have created an enormous public health crisis with skyrocketing healthcare costs.
A trade group representing the food industry says the lawsuit misleads consumers, and there is no agreed-upon definition of ultra-processed. It insists the food companies adhere to rigorous evidence-based safety standards established by the FDA and continue to introduce new product options that include increased protein and fiber, reduced sugars, and sodium. San Francisco hopes to see the same success it had when it took on Big Tobacco. City officials claim Big Food uses the same playbook today as Big Tobacco used then.
They knew their products make people very sick, but hid the truth from the public, profited from untold billions, and left Americans to deal with the consequences.
The city is seeking monetary damages and stricter marketing rules. A similar lawsuit filed by a consumer was dismissed this year. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we'll tell you about a change coming at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Welcome back. Lethbridge Hurricanes, they continue their 4-game homestand tonight. They're facing off against the Red Deer Rebels. Now, it is an important game for the Canes, with the Rebels occupying the last playoff spot. Lethbridge, well, they sit just 2 points back, but they have also played 3 more games than Red Deer. The Canes will be looking for revenge after being shut out 5-0 by the Rebels. That was back on October the 11th. Puck drop tonight. That happens at 7 o'clock. The first of 5 players acquitted of sexual assault charges in the high-profile Hockey Canada trial returned to the NHL last night. Carter Hart made his big save in overtime to keep the game tied. His Vegas Golden Knights would go on to win in a shootout. Now, after the game, Hart described what it was like to play for the first time in nearly 2 years after his league-mandated suspension.
Oh, it's just so good to be back. These guys here are awesome. Just grateful for the opportunity here. Huge win tonight. Just feels so good. Like it's hard to put into words.
Hart hit the ice amongst boos. He's one of the only players acquitted to have returned to the NHL. Team Carrie Einarson will wear Team Canada colors at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts next month in Mississauga, Ontario. Curling Canada says the Manitoba rink will assume the title of Team Canada at the Playdowns at the end of January. The reigning champions, skipped by Rachel Homan, will not return to defend their title as they prepare for the Winter Olympics in February. Einarson is a 4-time Canadian champion. Her team had already earned one of the 3 pre-qualification berths for the Scotties based on last season's rankings alone. To baseball, where the Toronto Blue Jays have reportedly signed another pitcher. ESPN is reporting that the team has agreed to a 3-year deal worth $30 million with right-hander Cody Ponce. Ponce has not played in the majors since 2021. However, he was named the MVP of the KBO, that is Korea's top professional baseball league, just last season. Ponce notched 17 wins with just a single loss. Ponce also struck out 252 batters in 180 2/3 innings. That set a single-season KBO record. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, why some Edmonton College students are hacking toys to help kids. Students and staff at an Edmonton college are hacking toys to benefit kids with disabilities. Merrick DeCatch explains.
Okay, so here's this one.
Norquest College looks more like Santa's workshop these days.
It's actually strangely easy, like with the right setup and the right instructions and the right supports around you, to actually take a toy and turn it into something that can be used by any child.
Hacking the Holidays is an event where students and staff remodel toys to make them more accessible for children with disabilities.
And they're creating a switch or an adaptive tech into that toy. So children that have limited mobility in their hands can now just have to press one button, making it easier for them to play with the toy.
So I'm adapting this super fun koala toy for a child with an experience of disability so that they can engage in play alongside their peers and like any other child would.
40 different items have been transformed, including this popular Lilo and Stitch toy fresh from the box.
So what I've done is I've opened it up. I've taken the switch, the switch apart from the actual functionality of the toy, and then modify it to make it more accessible.
Store-bought accessible toys can cost upwards of $100. The ones created here will be donated to children in the Edmonton area through Makers Making Change.
Too bad I won't be there to see like the little person open it and like how happy they are, but it's fun to imagine.
And they'll be delivered just in time for Christmas. Merrick DeCatch, CTV News, Edmonton.
A masked bandit who broke into a Virginia liquor store didn't make it far. Over the floor. They weren't sure who the culprit was until they found him passed out in a bathroom. The masked bandit, a raccoon. Animal Protection removed the trashed panda. Officials say the critter eventually sobered up and was safely released. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.